All right. So good morning. I'm going to be talking to you today about creating a flexible workplace in a hybrid world. So this topic, it's becoming increasingly important, right? In our ever-evolving work environment here. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I mean, there are people on both sides of that debate. This is the way that we are living and working. So there's significant challenges to navigating relationships professionally and personally in this sort of environment where we're spreading ourselves out into a bunch of different areas, a bunch of different contexts all the time. My job as a sales engineer is to hear from people who are looking for better solutions to challenges that they are facing at work with all sorts of areas of their business. So I work with Zoho One, which is the bulk of our product portfolio, as I'm sure you've heard of. I can demo most of our products. So I really hear from people across industries that are having all kinds of different problems that they're trying to solve for. And my job is to explore the solutions and really show them the solutions that Zoho provides that will hopefully help them, resolve those pain points and achieve their goals ultimately in a better way. And so that is what I am here to do today. This is what we're going to cover during this session. We are going to talk a bit more about the context and the specific challenges that hybrid work kind of entails, and we're going to narrow those down and really focus on what a good solution to those challenges would need to provide. Then I'll give a little intro about a couple specific Zoho applications that are going to work very well together to help us create this flexible foundation that's needed to support the dynamic nature of a workplace where people are working separately but together, and of course, at scale. These things get more challenging the more people get added to your team and your workplace. So we'll give you an intro to these tools. Maybe you've heard about some of them, maybe you haven't. But then we'll get into the key features of those applications that help support what it is that we're trying to achieve, which is going to be a flexible workplace that fosters strong communication regardless of where someone might be working at any given time. Okay, so we'll talk more about the context and challenges of hybrid work. So the move towards hybrid work, it's been something that's been happening over time, right? COVID really kicked things off, but of course, the push toward hybrid work was something that had been going on even before COVID. That just kind of forced workplaces everywhere, whether they're ready or not, to kind of quickly adapt to remote work. But as I said, our lives had been steadily evolving already to adapting to more digital and virtual aspects of every part of our lives. So we were already moving in that direction. But of course, there are significant challenges to that dynamic. This is a Gallup poll from this year that is showing the top 5 challenges to hybrid work that are cited by both the employees and organizations. And these challenges are, kind of precisely why organizations had been sort of reluctant, and maybe still are, frankly, to embracing fully hybrid work. And there's a good reason for that. It's extremely challenging to remain unified and aligned. I mean, even when everyone is in one place, the alignment is tough, right? So of course, when people are spread out all over the place for a variety of reasons, it makes things all the more challenging. But this is what we are facing today. So generally speaking, employees in industries where hybrid work is possible, they want to keep it. Mario himself said he loves working from home, and that's what you hear from many employees that work in industries that can accommodate that. But what I find personally compelling about this poll is that it shows that both employees who want to keep remote work, as well as organizations who are more inclined to say, okay, everybody get back to full-time on-site, they're basically in complete agreement with what the challenges are. Their pain points are the same. Organizations are just saying, hey, we think the solution to these pain points is just going back to the way we've always done things. We know that works. So everyone back to full-time on-site. And employees actually are the ones that are saying, they want to move things forward. Despite these pain points, we're determined to kind of explore these challenges and discover solutions that are going to keep us all moving forward. Again, because our lives outside of work, every aspect of our lives is more hybrid. We are used to being in many places at once through the tools that we have available to us now. So we're really in this transitional period of time where we're just trying to resolve these pain points and come to some, balance between these things. So distilled from that poll, the core challenges, what are those core challenges? Communication, collaboration, and connection. So communication within a team and also across teams, collaboration, same thing within your team, across teams, and also engagement with work and work culture. What are we doing at work every day? Connection with the vision of an organization as a whole. These are all challenges that we're facing. Now, another interesting layer to this is that we have never before in history had so many ways to do all these things. So it's not like we just haven't found a solution to communicate, collaborate, and connect, right? We can do all of these things in many different ways, and that might be part of what makes solving these problems actually all the more difficult. Is just too many options. So too many options that are highly specialized in any one of these areas, and they don't really integrate or talk to each other. And you have this kind of paradoxical effect where all of your solutions end up making you worse at all of these areas somehow. You keep trying to solve these problems and keep getting further away from the goal. You're talking to people on your chat apps that you love. Maybe you've started some project management apps to keep all of your work in one place, and now you're working with the same people you're chatting to in the comments of your projects. Then you're sending emails back and forth. And communication and collaboration still really kind of eludes you. You feel like communication is exhausting, it's a pain, and you still struggle to get things done quickly and easily. So I think when trying to solve for those things, another approach that you could take when you're evaluating solutions here for hybrid work is to look at how the tools that you're currently using support presence. And well-supported presence, that should be the requirement for your solution, because a stronger communication, collaboration, and connection, those things will naturally follow solutions that are supporting your presence really well. And the reason for that is because it's the presence that's producing the work. It's not actually these tools. These tools are not getting your work done. It is you who's getting your work done, and everything that you entail. So I've defined presence here as being the ability to kind of coordinate time, space, and focus. Your when, your where, and your what that you're working on. If you can coordinate these things seamlessly really well, that's where we feel like we are in flow, we're fully present, and we're going to produce our best work and feel at the peak of our engagement when all of these things are within our control and they're able to be coordinated and then most importantly synchronized with the people that we're trying to do work with. Being physically in the same space, in the same office with your coworkers, that does a lot of the heavy lifting in supporting your presence, right? We know we're in the same room from 9 to 5. We've already got the time and space sorted out. So focus becomes, the only other thing we need to coordinate with one another. But we can get in sync with each other very quickly in a physical place or in the same physical space. But, in a hybrid work environment where we're not readily in sync on that level, we need solutions that can simulate that same situation on demand with as little friction as possible. That is really the challenge. And that is kind of the lens that we're going to look at these tools from. So these are the tools that we will be talking about: Zoho Click, Zoho Meeting, and Zoho Calendar. Now, I do want to just say right off the bat, we won't be seeing a lot of Calendar, and that isn't because it's not important. It definitely is. There just isn't a lot to visualize there. But as you know, Calendar is an indispensable tool. That goes without saying, or it should go without saying. If you and your team, or the people that you work with, can't get your calendars in sync because everyone's using different tools, and some tools can be synced with your calendars and others can't be. Everyone knows that that's a mess if you've encountered that situation. So Zoho Calendar is a unified calendar for business that syncs events. That's going to be threaded through Click and Meeting, definitely. That's the backbone. That's the timekeeper. Very tightly integrated into both of those tools. So if I take some kind of scheduled action in either one, Click or Meeting, that's going to be using Zoho Calendar on the back end. And Zoho Calendar itself can be synced with other calendar applications as well. But primarily, we're going to be focusing on key features of Click and Meeting. And in case you aren't familiar with what Click and Meeting do or what they are, I'm going to give you a brief intro to each. So Zoho Click is really going to be your cornerstone for communication and collaboration in a hybrid work environment. This is a real-time chat application that also supports video and audio calling, but so much more, as we will see. Zoho Meeting, on the other hand, is our video and audio conferencing software. So it's a meeting solution, as the name might suggest. But it does have collaboration tools built in for a meeting setting, but meetings really are the specialty of Zoho Meeting. Now, I've just mentioned these are two different ways to meet and collaborate, and there certainly are overlapping functionality between these applications. And sometimes that is confusing to people, and they wonder, well, which one should I use? If they do, the same things in a lot of ways. Should I use one or the other? And I would say that there's definitely a place for each of these applications, a distinct place for each one, even though they have overlapping functionality. And really, which one that you choose to use is really going to come down to your goals, what it is that you're trying to do. But each one has a place for sure in the heart of your communication app stack. They're each heavily used daily across teams by our entire organization at Zoho. I use Click and Meeting every single day, and if either one of them went down, it would be a disaster. It would wreck my entire day. But to kind of sum it up, if you're looking for, a general rule of thumb of when to use which application, under which circumstances, Zoho Click, you can say, is just for internal communication. And Zoho Meeting is going to be your external communication tool. So let's get into those aspects of presence that I was talking about earlier in the presentation when we started talking about presence. Again, as I mentioned, this is sort of the lens that I want to view the solutions through. So time and space. When it comes to coordinating time and space, as I talked about before, if you are in a physical office with all of your coworkers, a lot of that heavy lifting is done for you, but we need a virtual version of that office space to get everyone in sync right away. And so this is Zoho Click, and it's showing your office at a glance here. This is a view within Zoho Click where if I am working remotely, in the upper left corner, you can see that's toggled on. The person logged in is checked in, working remotely, but they can also at a glance see everyone else in the organization or in their office and kind of where they are at work. In the first column there where it says at work, I could see everyone who is checked in at work, who's in the office. There's 5 people in the office. Down there at the bottom, there's 2 people checked in remotely. We also have people who are away. In the middle column, you can see at the second half of the middle column, people who are away, the people who are scheduled to be on leave. And then in the last column there, we've got people who are currently engaged in meetings. And the bottom half there is scheduled meetings you have coming up and who those meetings are with. So this is really powerful. I mean, it seems maybe simple, but this is a really powerful way to just kind of get a sense of where everyone is. When you walk into an office, you immediately look around the room and you see who's doing what, who's on calls. I can also see that here from this view as well. So this might be a little small to see out there in the audience, but they're little status dots. This is something, if you use chat tools, you'll be familiar with. Typically, you got green, yellow, and red. Click gives much more nuance to the status, which I think personally is really cool and helpful. You can see, Quinn Rivers, the second person on the left side here, that person's in a call. I can see they're currently in a call. Olivia, right below, is in a scheduled meeting. And in the remote list there, I can see someone is on mobile. So again, just kind of giving you a sense of how people are working, where people are working from, and you can dive in from there. This is much more nuanced than the typical red, yellow, green dots, and you know who's available to you. So we also need to be able to attend meetings on any device, right? We looked at our office back here. Okay, this is what's going on at work. Let's get into work now. If I am remote, or even if I'm in the office, I need to be able to attend meetings on any device. You can do that with both Click and Meeting. So if I need to attend my meeting on my phone versus my laptop, I can do that very quickly. You can even take Click calls on your Apple Watch. I have attended, I've been engaged in demos for Zoho where people that are showing up to these meetings are, joining a Zoho meeting from a mobile device, which I will say, if you're going to watch a software demo, it's not ideal, just reschedule. So you don't try to watch a software demo on the phone. Driving to go pick someone up. But you can, Zoho Meeting and Zoho Click both make that possible. Integrating a phone system into the chat tool, this is also something that is featured here. So you know that you can make audio calls with Click, but you can also integrate your voice over IP provider. I mean, we have Zoho Voice, which is integrated here. And this is showing a dashboard coming from Zoho Voice, but it's being tied right into Zoho Click. So this is giving me just an overview of all of my call activity. I can see all incoming calls, all outgoing calls, how many agents are logged in. Obviously, this is going to be something that's more for admins or even managers that are keeping a close eye or need to keep a close eye on call activity and those sort of engagements. But it's preventing you from having to open up a tab and have, kind of two things going on. It's really allowing you to retain all of that context all from one place, which goes a long way to reducing that friction, where we're talking about integrating or coordinating your time, space, your focus. That comes from integration of the tools that you use. We also have enhanced meetings. So let's say you are in the office, you happen to be on site, you're having a meeting and it's getting super loud around you. All of a sudden, I can seamlessly transfer my meeting to my phone if I need to and walk somewhere else, or if I'm leaving the building, if I have to run out, I can switch over to my phone, or vice versa. If I've been on the phone and I've got, home and I'm setting things up, I can transfer between devices really seamlessly without having to say, oh, I have to jump off, I'll call you right back. You just keep things moving. Obviously, we want seamless connectivity from anywhere as well. So it's not going to be great if these applications can only be used, in very specific conditions, from very specific places. That's not really going to support your presence. You need to be able to stay connected from wherever you are, and you absolutely are with Zoho Click. Now we want to move in, or I want to move into more on the meeting side of things, and getting away from, kind of team and office collaboration here. It's necessary to have individual spaces as well. So Zoho Meeting has a feature called Personal Rooms, where you have a permanent link to a meeting space that's just for you, that's private and secure. It's auto-locked, so it's password protected. Really, no one can just pop in if they happen to come across the link. If there's a meeting going on, they need a password to join. And this can be handy for one-on-ones. Let's say you want to have one-on-ones with your team. Just send them the link to your personal meeting room, and of course, set up the time to meet, and they can join. It's just a little more personal than having to create a new link every single time you start one of those meetings. Now, meeting room for hybrid teams. This is a feature that is available on both Click and Meeting. So this is one of the areas of overlapping functionality here. But again, if you are using Meeting as the external tool and Zoho Click as the internal communication tool, this feature, which is a feature that allows you to coordinate the use of a conference room with meetings on either one of these platforms, that can be used for, if you're using Zoho Meeting, which is what we're seeing here, external meetings, right? You want your team to be meeting with, clients or, some other people outside of your organization, but you want to be all gathered in the conference room and reserve that conference room from the software. You can do all of that with, again, both Meeting and Click. We're looking at the Zoho Meeting version here. So you can auto-sync meetings with physical conference rooms in your building and start meetings right there from the conference room system. So the Rooms app for Zoho Click is Click's version of exactly what we just saw for Zoho Meeting. In this case, there is an app that you can install on the conference room TV in the office, and you'll be able to then view all of the meetings that are scheduled for that room. You can also, within Click, when you go to schedule one of these meetings, book the room. It's going to show you the room capacity, and you can do everything you might expect. Add people you need to, and then join the meeting from a QR code in the conference room, and then use your phone kind of to engage and control the meeting from within the room. So 2 ways. And again, if you're using Zoho Click, think of this more internally. So here in Texas, I have team members that are spread across 3 different offices, and maybe we all want to have a meeting with the entire team, with everyone from each location. We could book conference rooms in each office and all, get on the same page there. All right, now I want to look at the area of supporting focus. How do these tools support the things that you are actually working on? And one of the first things that I want to mention is the do not disturb status. So, of course, we've got the green, the yellow, the red. We've got available, idle and not available. But you do really need more nuance to your statuses. You can now in Zoho Click set do not disturb as your status, but of course there's more functionality there. It's absorbing, people chat you when you're in do not disturb. It's going to absorb all of those notifications and not, ping you for every single chat that people are sending you, ignoring the fact that you're saying, please do not disturb me. And that's really key. Okay, so pre-planning your text in advance, this is sort of related. If you are like me and you see someone is in do not disturb, that you really have to get whatever you're trying to say off your chest before you forget about it. I totally ignore do not disturb, and I am one who sends the message anyway. But if you are not like me and you want to have a little more sensitivity to someone's status, you can pre-plan those texts. So say that somebody is unavailable or you see that they're on leave, you can say whatever you need to say to them and then tell Click, okay, I want to send this message when this person, the next time they're available, or maybe before they leave for the day. You can schedule when you want to send those out. Okay, so developer platform. Here is where we're going to get into focus as it pertains to kind of what you do for your day in and day out role. Everyone is doing something a little differently depending on your role, and you want to bring that functionality into the tools that you use. So Click, in this case. I want to be able to automate my tasks. I don't want to have to switch over to another application. I want to reduce all that context switching and bring things to me. And so Click is extremely extensible in that way through different methods. Right here, we're showing workflow automation with bots, and I'll zoom in on these elements. But this is an example of 3 different roles in an organization: support, sales, and maybe a more, C-level exec, maybe that needs to see analytic reports. But we're bringing the functions of my role into Zoho Click. So this is a support person, right? Maybe they live in our support ticketing tool called Zoho Desk, day in and day out. That's kind of where they do the bulk of their job. They can bring ticket information right into Zoho Desk. So this person can see that a new ticket has been assigned to them, or a new comment has been left in Zoho Desk. So Zoho Desk activity coming into Click. I personally use this. Part of my role is I do a little bit of support. I do a little bit on the sales side. So this is huge for me in my role. I get a lot of notifications that come from Desk right into Click. Now, on the sales side of things, I also get notifications like this as well. So CRM data can also come into Zoho Click. In this case, that we see here, someone is chatting. We have a chat going on. They need clarification around a subscription or account creation, and they reference this customer to Olivia. And then Olivia immediately, pulls up the information, and it's coming straight from Zoho CRM, right? So pulling in a CRM record right into Click without having to go anywhere else. That is interoperability across applications. We integrate with Click integrates not only with other Zoho applications, but a whole lot more. So everyone is using, a patchwork of software to get their day-to-day jobs done in today's world, and we understand that. So we really make it a priority to integrate with as many things as possible to allow you to retain the context of your work and bring that into your communication and collaboration platform. Now, as we kind of wind down here, I do want to touch on some artificial intelligence features, just because these are, this is all the rage right now. We want to know what can AI do in these tools? I get asked that all the time. So within Click, we have a writing assistant. And this is kind of a funny example. I included it here just because I thought it was funny, this little GIF here, and I'll zoom in on it. So this person initially says, we'll wait for it to start. Team, why the hell are you delaying to share the campaign stats? They're unhinged. They've come unglued, they're in a rage. They've misspelled delaying, so the writing assistant is letting them know, hey, you misspelled a word here. And also sentiment analysis is detecting that they sound angry. So they're able to rephrase that and get to neutral, which is what we want for a professional setting. And this is kind of funny, it seems kind of silly, I guess, but really people that might struggle with, this is an extreme example, but just, often running into situations where they're not coming across in the way that they want to, or maybe they have anxiety around that and they want to make sure that they sound neutral. This just gives a little extra, helping hand to that person in their chat tool. This is something that's seen in email, but it's also in our internal collaboration tool, Zoho Click. Now, an unread message summary. This is also a great feature. Everyone has, if you use chat tools, everyone has channels and groups that are muted, right? There's activity happening in there. We don't need to see every single notification. We've got them running in the background. But you do have to kind of keep up with them every so often. There is an unread message summary, which is nice. Just sum up, give me the gist of what was discussed in this channel. And that's what this feature does here. If it's not giving you a good summary, if you go back through and you find that the summary wasn't great, you can leave your feedback there. But some extra assistance coming into play in Zoho Click. We also have smart suggestions for messages. And that is Click recognizing certain aspects of a message and prompting you to take certain actions that might be relevant to that little bit of information there. So in the first example, someone sent their contact number, and you can see that they're able to call that number if they would like, right from Click. So it's recognizing that phone number or that number as potentially a phone number, even though it's not formatted in a standard way or standard recognizable way. It still, recognizes that they could call that number if they want. And then the second example there is that someone says, "Hi, Olivia, can we connect tomorrow?" Tomorrow is recognized, and that allows you to immediately schedule a meeting for that time, maybe add it to the calendar or set a reminder. So just some helpful prompts there. And we also have meeting transcript and summary. So you can have meetings within Zoho Click. As we see here, what we're looking at are all of the meetings in this person's Click account, kind of in the white middle section of the screen here. Those are all the existing meetings. And then off this pane that's opened up on the right side is the full overview of the meeting. We've got a summary that's been auto-generated and action items from this meeting. We can also see, everyone who attended and the recording attached as well. All right. Well, thank you all.